Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sportsballin, your home for all things sports. My name is Ethan Markham, and as always, I'm joined by Connor Smith and Jace Vincent. You guys ready to talk some ball?
Absolutely. Another jam-packed show on the way, so Final Four, a lot of other things to talk about, so ready to get things going.
Yeah, man, this is the best day of the week getting to talk some ball with my boys. We've got a loaded slate for the show today. Let's get into it.
So jump right on into things. Last night, the Elite Eight wrapped up with two final games, one of which being Tennessee versus Michigan, and it wasn't even close. The Volunteers got dominated by the Wolverines 95-62, ending Tennessee's season in the Elite Eight for a third consecutive season.
Yeah, Michigan smoked them on that Tennessee pack. It was a close game until about 11:22 to go in the first half, and then Michigan went on a 21-0 run, pretty much destroying the Volunteers' spirit. From there, Michigan rolled to a 32-point win. Yaxel Lindeborg showed why he's one of the best players in the country with a 27-4 day, over 50% shooting from the field. The Michigan bench did a great job as well, giving some extra support, but overall, it just wasn't close.
This is, I saw a tweet during the game that said that watching the game was like watching your dog get put down, but it takes like 3 hours to do it, and everyone's cheering. So that's what that game felt like watching it. But no, the realization for Tennessee is that they just didn't have the guys to run with Michigan. They didn't have the horses to run with Michigan. They don't have as much investment into college basketball as Michigan does. And if they want to get to a Final Four, then that's what it takes. I think is you need to take that next step in investment to buy a better roster.
Yeah, don't say it, but does it stay on?
It never came off.
Well, I think one of the things to point out would be that it's probably one of the lesser talented rosters that Rick Barnes has fielded over the last 10 years.
And I'm not taking away from it.
I'm not taking away from the accomplishment of the Elite Eight, but I would also, we all kind of knew going into that game what was going to happen.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. But
Michigan's been one of the best teams all year.
I mean, this is a historically good team. There's not a lot of people that were going to stay close to them, but it is frustrating, especially after how well they played against Iowa State, to then just get pummeled.
Yeah, they competed on the boards, and they had the physicality and the bigs to compete with Michigan, but you got to make shots. Nate Ament was terrible. Let's be real. He was terrible. Jacoby Gillespie was the only guy that showed up offensively the other day. Everyone else was rough. Nate Ament, I think he shot 2 for 13. Just a bad day from everyone else besides Jacoby.
Yeah, they just couldn't make shots. Some days you can't make them fall.
It was a bad day to have a bad shooting day, and I think that's kind of you needed Jacoby Gillespie and Nate Ament to probably have their best games of the season.
Absolutely. Also last night, Duke and UConn squared off for a trip to the Final Four, and despite holding a commanding lead, Duke would end up choking everything away and would lose on a deep three with just a second left.
What a great game from two blue blood programs. But Duke absolutely choked this game away. They had it won till the very end, but another John Shire disaster class, and Duke is going home, I don't want to say early because they made it to the Elite Eight, but they should have been in the national championship game. He did not prepare his team to win, did not prepare them for that final sequence, and they blew it.
And it's now the third Final Four in 4 years for UConn, so all the talk that we talk about consistency, UConn's probably one of the better programs in the country in terms of that. And for Duke, all the talk that they're talking to North Carolina fans for blowing a 19-point lead to VCU, they had their own 19-point blown lead to UConn. They got outscored 44-28 in the second half by UConn. So
it's one of those things where, and they were, for a lot of people, they were the favorite to not just make a Final Four, but to win it all. And so to see them fall this, I don't want to say early, like you said, it is the Elite Eight, but it feels a lot worse than it is on paper.
Well, especially the way they lost that game. They had, I think it was 10.4 seconds left. You're up by 2 points. Just hold the ball. Take the violation and make them put up a shot with 0.4 seconds left. They didn't. It gave me a lot of flashbacks to, was it Virginia and
Furman?
Yes, it was like the exact play. You would think a team that skilled with that kind of coaching staff wouldn't do that, but once again, John Shire loses the game for his team.
It's becoming a trend. This Final Four is finally set, and it's going to be Illinois versus UConn and Michigan versus Arizona. So, guys, we're just going to jump into it. What are your thoughts on it? How do you see things playing out?
You go first.
Michigan and Arizona, that matchup is the de facto national title game. In my opinion, they're easily the two best teams in the country. It sucks that they aren't on opposite sides of the bracket, but we don't get to see that national title. But whoever wins that game, in my opinion, is going to win the national title, probably rather convincingly.
I agree with you on that. I think it'll be closer in the national championships because all 4 teams are really good. One thing I want to point out is the coaching matchups. You've got Dusty May versus Tommy Lloyd and Dan Hurley versus Brad Underwood. Probably 4 of the top 10, top 8 coaches in the sport. You've got really good rosters, elite coaching minds. I cannot wait to see this thing play out.
And another team that I feel like, you talk about Illinois. I feel like Illinois is still one of the scariest teams still in the Final Four, and that's purely because of the way they can shoot the 3 ball, the way they can get guys like Stojakovic, Keaton Wagler going. I feel like they could still like beat UConn in the game, get to the national title. Now, not win it all, but I feel like that they could still win a Final Four game.
Do you think, because obviously Michigan has been just elite the last like 2-month stretch, they've been better than anybody by a lot. Do you think there is a chance that Arizona beats Michigan, or is it pretty much just go ahead and write it in?
Yeah, no, I think that Arizona could 100% win the game because everything that Michigan does so well, Arizona also does it so well. Like, they have guys that can score on the inside. They have guys that can rebound. They have guys that match Michigan's size. And they have guys that can also shoot the 3 to go on. That's not what they mostly do, but they can shoot the 3 if needed. So I feel like it'll probably be the best game of the season.
100%. And, like, I'm a guy that was not very high on Arizona going into the tournament. They proved me wrong, and I'm okay with it. Like Jace said, they can 100% win this game. They can win the national championship. Easy.
I would agree with Jace, though. I think whoever wins between Arizona and Michigan's pretty much, that's the national champion. We'll take a quick break from the action, and when we return, we'll have MTSU and MLB baseball right after this.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
This past weekend, Middle Tennessee swept New Mexico State, outscoring the Aggies 24-18, pushing the Blue Raiders to above 500 in conference play. And guys, it was a very, very close series. The scores make it look like it was close, but it was even closer if you actually go back and watch those final innings.
See, I think opposite. I mean, game 1 was obviously close. Game 2, they had an 8-3 lead going into the 9th, and then same for game 3. I think the bullpen made things closer than what it was, but for the most part, I want to say that Middle Tennessee kind of handled their business in this series.
I would say a lot of the same. For about 8 innings of, well, I would say 8, about 7 innings of Saturday and Sunday games, Middle Tennessee was cruising. They just have to find ways. I feel like they have to find ways to be able to close games out, and the bullpen is what can really make or break this team when it gets down the stretch, especially this upcoming weekend when they play Jacksonville State.
That's been what's killed them all season, has been the bullpen. And like to your point, for the first 7 or 8 innings of each one of those games, it wasn't close. I mean, they were running away with it. But you got to play a full 9 innings, and
Yeah,
that's something that's going to haunt them. Like Jace said, especially next weekend against Jacksonville State.
Yeah, Jack State is, at this point, the clear-cut best team in Conference USA. I think I checked it. I think their RPI is like top 30. They're one of the elite mid-majors. If they don't get things tweaked out in the bullpen and play some complete, clean baseball, Jack State's going to sweep them because they've swept everybody so far. Like, they are on a historic run, the first team in league history to sweep the first 3 series. So it'll be tough, but I mean, when you got a guy like Lane Akers playing the way he is, it's always easy to pick up some wins.
Well, yeah, he had season highs in hits, doubles, and RBI over the weekend. So
Conference USA Player of the Week.
Player of the Week, and I feel like it shows also just part of Middle Tennessee this season. Really, they're one of the streakiest teams, and when you see their highs, they're really high. And you see their lows, and they're really low.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the more interesting storylines coming into the 2026 MLB season was Giants manager and former Tennessee coach Tony Vitello making the leap to the pros. And so far, it's not been great. San Francisco is 0-3 and have been outscored 13-1 on the season.
The Giants are hot trash this season. I mean, and I don't want to overreact about it, but that was awful. Like, clearly, it's very early into the season. They can bounce back. It took them until game 3 to score their first run. And, like, they don't have some horrible, like, it's not a great offense by any means, but to score 1 run and to get just dominated by a team who historically is, well, historically, that's a bad saying, within the last couple years has been meh. I mean,
I'm not going to – it's only 3 games in the season, so I'm not going to fully hold it against them because they win against Max Fried and who did they throw in game 2? I'm blanking on who the Yankees.
Carlos Rodon.
I don't know. I'm blanking. But anyways, main question, is Tony Vitello in over his head? I don't think so. I feel like it's early into the season, and I think 3 games is truly to tell like if a college coach is not fit for the MLB.
Well, it's like I told Dylan the other day, our job technically is to overreact to everything. But I would say with Tony, look, I mean, like to Jace's point, it's 3 games into a season. It's 162 games.
Yeah.
You've got 159 games to go. I don't think they're going to be great, though. I think that this is one of those where he's going to have to take a full year to adjust to the new level. I mean, he was talking about it the other day. He said, the biggest judgment, I can't talk down to guys anymore. Everyone's my age, So I think there's still an adjustment. There's an adjustment year. But I don't think he's necessarily in over his head. At least I don't think that yet. Not 3 games into it. Yeah. But now we'll go over to hear what's going on outside of the studio for the word on the street on Sportsballin.
What's going on, everybody? I'm RJ Schaefer here with Sportsballin, and today we're testing if MTSU students know the difference between real or fake football player names.
All right, who am I here with today?
Tristan.
Tristan, we are testing if you can distinguish real from fake football player names. Think you can do it?
I hope so.
All right, we're gonna start with an easy one. You might have heard this one before. Maybe real or fake. General Booty.
I'm pretty sure that's fake.
That's a real player. That's a quarterback. Come on, man. Haynes Hammer. Is that a real player?
Yeah.
Haynes Hammer is a real player. Played at Virginia Tech. All right. How about Brock Ironwood? Think that's a real football player?
That sounds fake.
Yeah, that is fake. What about Dude Person?
That's gotta be fake too.
Dude Person is a real player. You just disrespect. That's a real player. His mom named him that. Yeah. Is Kool-Aid McKinstry a real player? Real player, yes. In the NFL for the Saints right now, I think. What about Steel Fortress? Good football name, but do you think it's real?
Yes.
Yes, Steel Fortress, played for Northern Michigan. What about Memorable Factor? Is that a real name?
Nah, that's not a real name.
Memorable Factor is a real player, football player. What about Cartier Cash? Think that's a real player?
Probably, yeah.
That's a fake one. That's a rapper I found on Spotify. Jackson Kirkowitz. Think that's a real guy?
I'm gonna go with yes.
Real guy, but not a football player. I'm sorry. 0 for 2. What about Maggie Patterson? You think that's a real football player?
I'm gonna go yeah, because I don't think so.
It is not, and you're 0 for 3.
0 for 3. How many are there?
What about Gooey Tip?
I'm gonna say that's not real.
That is a real player, Dave. He played NAIA football in Iowa. That is a real player. One more, see if you can ride this hot streak. Kool-Aid McKinstry. Is that a real player?
I'm gonna say yes. That's a real
Yes, that is a real player. Played at Alabama, now with the New Orleans Saints. Last one we got for you. What about Tonka Jahari? Is that a real player?
If it is real, he went to like Ole Miss or somewhere deep in the South. But yeah, I'm gonna go real.
So that's not real at all. But from a Practical Jokers episode, we're gonna start with Squirrel White. Is that a real player?
I don't think so, no.
Squirrel White is a real, yes. What about Ridge Texada? Is that a real guy?
Ridge Texada? I think their parents hate him, but that's probably a real name.
That is a real player, and I don't know. I like the name.
I don't know. Like, hey, Ridge, get over here. Like, what are you doing?
What about Drew Williams? Is that a real player?
Yeah.
Reverse psychology on you. That is not a real player. Jet Speed. Is that a real player?
Jet Speed. Oh, that's fake.
Yeah, that's fake. That's fake. Okay. What about Easton Flyball?
Easton Flyball? Yeah, for sure. I'll play with him.
No.
Wow, some of you need to know the difference between real and fake player names. Back to you in the studio.
And welcome back. It's time for our hot takes of the week. And as always, Jace, we will start with you.
Well, my hot take, we're going to start down on the bayou. I feel like for all the hype that this team is getting, that they're not going to live up to it. And that's LSU. I think that they'll fall short of their very, very high expectations set for 2026, where they'll not only miss the playoff this upcoming year, but I feel like that they'll fall short of their projected win total, which sits at 8.5. Why? They have a very hard season coming in. Lane Kiffin in, Brian Kelly out. I feel like that they have key additions like Sam Levitt, Jordan Seaton, Princely Monmielen coming in, guys like that. They have such a hard schedule. I mean, they'll play Clemson to start the year, which Clemson's Clemson now. But they'll play at Ole Miss, they'll play at Tennessee, so that'll be fun for Lane Kiffin. They'll play Texas, Alabama, as well as Texas A&M. So I feel like just such a hard schedule. I feel like that they could sit at about an 8-4, about a 9-3 type LSU.
I don't hate it just because, like, in my opinion, there's only two teams in the SEC that you can pencil in, like, yeah, if they don't make the playoff, it's a failure, which is Georgia and Texas. So I like that part of it. They're not going to go 8-4. They're going 9-3 at bare minimum. They're going to win 9 or 10 games. They might get left out of the CFP, but they're going to at least win 9 games. So I'm 50-50 on this.
I'm the opposite. I think they could win. I wouldn't even be surprised if they only win 7 games. The reason being, hard schedule. Hear me out. Hard schedule, but also Kiffin has shown in the past he struggles in big games. There's been numerous examples of him just not being able to close out against tough teams. He's got a really tough schedule. The expectations are up. And also, this roster is mainly built of transfer guys, which you don't always know what you're going to get out of those guys. Sometimes you get great luck in the transfer portal, but sometimes you get guys that you thought were going to be great, and they come in and they struggle. So for all these guys now playing under a new coach in a new setting, which is the expectations are through the roof, right? If this were anywhere else, they'd say, all right, new coach, let's say, it is what it is. But I just, with the schedule they have, I could see them, winning 9 games. So I could also see them winning all. The
only games I can really pencil in for LSU right now that are automatic wins, I would feel, are Mississippi State, Arkansas, McNeese, and Louisiana Tech. And probably about 50-50 on Clemson.
No. Me and Jace agree. Connor?
This might be an insane take for you guys, but I think this is the beginning of the end of the John Shire era at Duke. I mean, yeah, he's 124 and 25 or whatever he is. He's been great in the regular season in 4 seasons at Duke, but he can't get it done in the big moments. You look at last year; they choked that 8-point lead with 30 seconds to go. This year, he does not put his guys in the right position to inbound the ball with 10 seconds left. Doesn't give them the right coaching. They lose that one. They get smoked out in the first year he was there against Tennessee. You can't keep losing games the way that he has this deep in the tournament at arguably the most prestigious program in the country at Duke. If you get put out in the Elite 8 Final Four, so be it. But he's completely choking games and really getting embarrassed on live television. That cannot happen at Duke. If he does this for another 2 or 3 years, he's out the door.
I don't think he's going to get fired. I don't think he's close to getting fired at all, to be honest, at Duke. I feel like they're really close to being back in that spot where they could win it. They're consistently building that talent that they're bringing in that's around the same as what Coach K brought in, if not higher. They're just not being able to win, because I feel like when Duke was winning national titles, that it was kind of Duke, Gap, everyone else. Versus now you have NIL and transfer portal where everyone else could have those.
Yes, that's not going to happen anymore.
I'm not saying they can't.
But But do you think that Duke, both the administration and, because they really only have basketball fans, Duke, the administration and and their families, do you think that they're patient enough to give him time? Because I'm with Connor. I think if you fall out in the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 another year, I think it's getting at the end.
You fire John Shire. Who do you bring in? That's going to
anybody you want. It's Duke.
Yeah,
but
it's the same thing with Kalen Bohr. How yes he made the CFP in his second season, but that's not the standard. If you get blown out or you get embarrassed like Duke has the last 2 or 3, 4 years, and you keep doing that where you're just not making it that far and you keep choking because John Shire cannot coach in the big moments, you're gone. At a program like that, you're gone.
Yeah, they could bring pretty much anybody they'd like. So for me, because now we're going to go to me, the Chiefs are cooked. I think the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs next year. I think the Chiefs might even miss the playoffs the next year after that. My reasoning being, first off, Mahomes, who is still one of the best quarterbacks in the league, coming off an ACL injury, you don't always know how guys are going to rebound from that. That's one of those injuries that's really tough to see, even with advancements in modern medicine. So he's going to struggle. He's not going to be elite. They don't have a great receiving core. It's, Rashee Rice, who's incredibly unreliable. Travis Kelce's washed. The offensive line is not great. The defense is aged and they're banged up. I don't know. I think this is probably the fastest decline I think we've ever seen of a dynasty in the NFL. And I don't think they make the playoffs next year. I think maybe they make it the year after if they, kind of retool. But I don't think they're going to be at the same peak. I think that dynasty has already reached its peak.
No, 100%. If you guys remember, I said this after they lost to the Eagles by, 20, 30 points in the Super Bowl. You guys disagree with me. But now, I agree 100%. Like you said, Mahomes coming off a significant injury. Andy Reid's on his way out. And you really have no one else besides Rashee Rice, which he's not reliable off the field or on the field. So,
yeah.
I'm going to say that it's not going to be the same as it once was when they were consistently in the Super Bowl every year. But I'm going to say that they're still good enough to play themselves close to the AFC title game, where that experience plays some part into it, where they can still beat teams like Denver and the Chargers in the AFC West and get to that extent where they can make deep runs in the AFC.
Experience is great until you're like,
you're too old to walk.
Until you're unk. You can't really get anything going.
I still trust Andy Reid to get.
I trust Andy Reid's a great coach, but I just don't. I don't think they have the roster for it.
He's done.
I don't think they do.
It's over.
It's Jover. We'll be back here in a moment. We'll have our favorite segment. It's Connor's Question right after this.
You know what makes this place great? It's not the winding canyons, the painted rocks, open fields, or starlit skies. It's not hiking trails that move you, or the views that stop you right in your tracks. You know what makes this place great? The locals. Visit and make Southern Utah's best friends, the nation's largest no-kill animal sanctuary, even better.
It started with the original care package, and millions more like it. Passed from hand to hand, across land and sea, to help survivors in the aftermath of war. As we grew, we found better ways to help those in need, ways to make a real difference, not just today, but tomorrow as well. Be the difference in people's lives. Help deliver lasting change at care.org.
It's now time for Connor's Question. And Connor, what do you have for us this week?
Thanks, Ethan. This week we have, is this NBA draft the best of all time? It's got the top end guys. You've got the Darren Petersons, the AJ DeBanstas, Cam Boozer, Caleb Wilson, etc. That's usually where it ends for most drafts. Even the next tier off, the LeBaron Philons, Darius Acuffs are great. But then you get to the back end of the first round with your Amari Allen, Braylon Mullins, Isaiah Evans, so on and so forth. This is a draft where every team in the first round will be happy with their pick. I mean, I'm not sure you've ever seen a draft class like this that's this deep and this good.
I think it's the best draft in a long, long time really for the college aspect of things.
Best of all time.
And I would agree with you if 2003 didn't exist.
Top heavy.
I wouldn't say that because you have LeBron, who else in there? Carmelo. You have Dwayne Wade in there. That's already three. That's already good.
Top heavy.
That's already good enough.
Yeah, but that's 3 Hall of Famers. It's top heavy, but that pulls a lot of weight.
I mean, I guess, but you've got so many players that could be all NBAs in this draft. There's legitimately, I was talking to Shane about it before the show. There's 8 guys that in a normal draft class you could argue for first overall pick. 8 to 10. You've never had that before.
I mean, I would agree that it's one of the more balanced drafts we've ever seen. There's a lot of guys in there, but I always have a hard time saying if I think any draft class is great because I like to wait a few years and then look at it.
Well, obviously, but on paper.
But I don't know. I'm kind of with Jace. I think the 2003 class, it's close. It's top heavy, but
it's just.
Dude, but when you have consistent Hall of Famers, I feel like that plays also some part into it.
Yeah, 3 Hall of Famers, and then the rest of the class was not very good. This class could literally have 10 to 15, all NBA, 10-plus year NBA pros. Like, again, you've never seen something like this. This is elite. Just imagine if Cooper Flagg didn't reclass because he was going to be in this draft class. Can you imagine? It'd be even better than the greatest of all time.
What?
Because this is the best of all time. It'd be even better than that.
Okay.
What are you talking? What are you?
What?
This just didn't make sense.
I don't know, but this is the best of all time, and you guys are tripping if you think otherwise.
It has the potential to be the best.
It has potential, especially from the college aspect. It's got some of the best college players that are all going to be in the same draft. So that's why Nate Ament should come back.
I was going to say, yeah, dude, Nate Ament, please come back.
Nate Ament, come back for their sophomore season.
But that's all the time we've got for Connor's questions. Stick around as we wrap things up with our picks for the week here in a moment.
Oh, man. I can't believe I'm missing this. Okay, Grandma. I see you.
Don't get stuck at home with the flu. A flu shot is the best way to prevent the flu and its potentially serious complications. It keeps you, your community, and loved ones protected. Don't get flu FOMO. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
We're here to our last segment for the night, our picks for the week, starting with Michigan and Arizona.
These are probably the two best teams in the country, without a doubt. Super tough game to pick, but give me Michigan. I think they have too much size down low, and it'll give them the slight advantage.
Yeah, these are easily two of the best teams in the country. This is, like I said, the national title game in its own self, and I think everything Michigan has, Arizona has as well. It's just really hard to go against Michigan. They've dominated everyone all year, and this is probably the best Michigan team in their proud history. So give me the Wolverines.
I want to take Arizona just to do something different, but I can't. Michigan, they're good. They're really good. So give me the Wolverines. Next up, UConn and Illinois.
I really want to take Illinois. I do. I think they have the better team. They have more depth, more length down low. But Dan Hurley is probably, arguably, likely the best coach in the sport right now. I think his impact is going to carry that over. They're going to win to go to their third national title in the last 4 years.
Look, UConn has the championship pedigree. Dan Hurley's probably one of the best coaches in the country. But Illinois is one of the scariest teams in the country, and I love Brad Underwood right now. So give me Illinois to pull off a little upset over UConn.
For the love of the game, Illinois. Now we move on to baseball, MTSU and Jacksonville State.
You know, I think Middle Tennessee is starting to hit their stride a little bit. They're playing some solid baseball. Jack State is a machine. I mean, they're 9-0 in conference play for a reason, doing historic stuff this year. Give me Jack State.
Middle Tennessee's been a very streaky team this year, and for that reason, I mean, I'll take Jacksonville State to win 2 out of 3.
I'm going to take Jacksonville State for a clean sweep.
Ooh.
Middle Tennessee's bullpen has just struggled all season long. I don't see them fixing it between now and then. So give me the Gamecocks. And for our last game, Tennessee and LSU.
This is the dumpster fire bowl between two very mid teams. Very mid teams. However, I don't like LSU whatsoever. Give me the Vols to win 2 of 3.
Well, I've been handed the glorious buzzer here. So for that reason, I mean, these two teams are just mid at the gates here. They both had really high expectations coming out for 2026, and they've just not lived up to the hype. And Tennessee can't win a series against anyone that's not Missouri, so I'll take LSU to win 2 out of 3 in Knoxville.
For the love of the game, I'll take Tennessee 2 out of 3.
Everything's for the love of the game.
I'm probably wrong. Press the button. Bang. All right. That's all the time we have tonight. We thank you for tuning in, and remember to look for all future episodes of Sportsballin on YouTube and Blue Raider TV every week on Tuesday. For Connor Smith and Jace Vincent, I'm Ethan Markham. We'll see you around. Good night.